Hi, so today I'm going to quickly show you how to set up Collaborate Ultra on your Canvas site. So start from home and I want you to go down to the Settings tab down at the bottom. When you're here, you'll want to go to the Navigation tab that's on the top of your options. And here you have the option of everything that you can kind of have on this side menu. As you'll notice, it matches pretty much directly to what my side menu looks like. So there's a bunch of options down here. If you can use iClicker, Media Galleries, and then Collaborate Ultra. So once you're here, I just want you to click and drag to where you'd like it to appear. Now that Collaborate Ultra is showing up on your left-hand menu, so your students and you can both access it, now it's time to create a session. And as you may have already noticed, I've created a few thus far. So let's get started. So first, I'm going to click this Create Session button, which will bring up all of the key things, elements I need to change to shape how this particular session is going to work. But the first thing I have to do is I have to give it a name. You can do so right next to this purple box. Once you do that, it is actually going to jump in and get going. So keep in mind that you might want to move quick through these options just so students don't hop into the portal too early. Okay, once you've given a name to your session, now we need to figure out how you want people to have access, who you want to have access, and when you want them to have access, and then what kind of access you want them to have. So the first thing is that I want to walk through is this sort of panel here. And there's sort of two options. The first allows for an anonymous dial-in. Now, this is really useful if you have students who, for example, don't have a very fancy computer that allows for more complex forms of streaming, or students who might just have really inconsistent internet access or no internet access at all. This phone number can allow your students to participate in your classroom session even if they don't have the technological capabilities beyond just their phone. The second point is you can allow for guest access. If you have someone maybe outside of the school who you want to participate, or if you want a student to maybe take over a particular position. For example, if you click down here, you'll notice they can be a participant, a presenter, or a moderator. So these different roles you might want to give to a student, for example, and you'll do so using the link. Now these little buttons here are if you just want to quickly copy the information, whether it's this information here to email your students or this information here. It's just an easy way to do it without and know that you've gotten all the information that's in that link, even if some of it's hidden. If you don't want to have any guest access though, you can just quickly click this little green check mark and no one else will get access outside of the phone. Okay, so once you feel comfortable with who gets access, now let's get to when they get access. If you click on event details, you're going to get a nice breakdown of all of the different choices you have in terms of editing. Now, because I'm doing office hours, I'm going to want to set this up on a weekly basis. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the day of the week that I want them to start. So this office hours are going to be Thursdays from 11 to noon. So I'm going to start by clicking my Thursday time, editing my beginning hours, and then I'm going to keep my same time here so it's not going over too long, and providing ending hours. Now, if you want to have just an open session, you can delete no end. That's generally not how I want to roll with my office hours, so I'm going to keep that. But I do want it to repeat so I don't have to constantly make a new session every week. So I'll click repeat session. And then I'm going to have it repeat weekly, but if you want to repeat daily, say if you are one of those individuals who has a class that goes Monday through Friday. If you want to repeat it monthly for like a monthly check-in, that's up to you. But I'm going to do weekly. You can then also change the number of weeks. So if you want to do it every 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, but I'm going to just do every week. And then you can choose which days it appears at. So in this case, I just want this one on Thursdays because I want all of my office hours to have basically different time periods and lengths. Now, it's up to you if you want to go, if you know that you have X number of weeks in the semester, you can use end after occurrences, which would just be the number of times you've hosted the session. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure what the exact end would be for me, so I'm just going to choose end on date. And then again, I'll go here and choose an appropriate date that I want my sessions to end at. Now then, the last thing to do is to figure out when you want people to have early entry into the session. Personally, I'm okay with having 15 minutes if students want to sort of kind of hang out, maybe chat with each other, but that's all. And then finally, if you want to provide a description of your session, you can do so here. Okay, so now, last but not least, you have to figure out what you want people to be able to do and to share in your Collaborate session. So in this case, there's a couple of things. If you only want profile pictures for the moderator, in other words, if you want to keep the comments fairly anonymous, you might click this button. At this point, my class was a discussion class, so I'm pretty comfortable with them knowing each other. Then you want to think about, do you want them to share audio, video? You want them to be able to post chat messages or to draw on your whiteboard or any files you might be sharing amongst your groups. Now, if you don't want people to join by telephone, you can click this button and it'll turn off that option. But again, this is going to be difficult if you do have students who, again, don't have good access to the internet. I would, if at all possible, try to keep this on. Now, finally, you could either turn on a private chat or you can also supervise any private chats that are going on. Keep in mind that it's okay if at this stage you're a little anxious, you don't want students sort of communicating with each other in a way that you can't see. You're perfectly welcome to click these two so that in this case you can see all the conversations that are happening. And once you're done, all you need to do is click save. Okay, so let's say that you need to change one of your recurring times. Maybe there's a Tuesday, for example, that you have to end early because of a doctor's appointment, or maybe you need to go pick up your kids, or what have you. So in this case, first you want to choose the reoccurring time. So this is my Tuesday office hours, which I hold from 11 to 1 p.m. So if you click on this, you will get access to each individual session. And let's say I have a doctor's appointment at 12:15 on March 24th. So I need to actually cut that session short. This is actually really easy. All you have to do is go over to these 3 buttons, the session options, and choose Edit Occurrence. And so in this case, I'm going to end at just noon because that'll give me 15 minutes to get where I need to be. And all I have to do is hit save. Now that's March 24th. And as you'll notice, if we go back here, even though over here in the list, it doesn't say that time has changed, it does under the actual session capabilities. Now, the nice thing is, if we were to say click on March 31st, you'll notice that it is still at its original time. So if you make any changes, it's not going to sort of domino down to the rest of the sessions you have. Okay, so let's say you just want to delete your session. Click the circle with the 3 dots in the center and go down to delete your session. Then click delete it. Okay, so that's my video on how to set up Collaborate Ultra in Canvas and also how to set up individual sessions. I will also be making a video on how to use Collaborate Ultra to stream your classes or office hours, so keep your eyes out for that.